You will remember earlier this year, Texas lawmakers passed a bill to display the 10 Commandments in every public school classroom in Texas when those posters or signs are donated to the school. KLTV7's Katie Parker has more tonight from East Texas school leaders on how they're complying with the new law.
I think it drives conversation, I think, among the kids. And it's not our place to interpret that for them or to talk to them about that, but maybe conversations with their parents and their families and other things, and something for them to reflect on it.
Texas Senate Bill 10 was put into effect September 1st of 2025, requiring public schools across the state of Texas to display 16 by 20 posters of the 10 Commandments in durable or framed condition.
That's when those posters are provided by private donation. The 1980 Supreme Court decision of Stone v. Graham bars public schools from mandating religious displays. Mineola ISD's Cody Mize believes this new bill takes education back to fundamental roots.
It's a return to the history and some of the values that have shaped our society.
The bill requires any donated posters to be displayed in classrooms. Mineola and Alba Golden ISD have both received donations from Bright Cross Ministries.
In small communities like this, two of your biggest organizations certainly are your schools and your churches. And when those things can partner together to make things better for one another, it helps us all out.
Pine Tree Superintendent Steve Clugston says his school has not yet received donated posters. Clugston says he is not sure enforcing the presence of the 10 Commandments is constructive, but agrees with the bill's purpose.
It is what it is. I think the intention behind it is, to spread the word and let more people that are lost be found. I'm all for the intention. I just don't know that the method accomplishes what we want it to.
Katie Parker, KLTV7 News.
And now all 3 school districts also have "In God We Trust" posters in their classrooms. Those posters are the result of a law that took effect back in